As I earlier mentioned, that loss of crops and livelihood are definitely resulting in high cost of foodstuff. The more we are already experiencing high costs of food, and with this also, it has done, so much. It has costed, if I use the word havoc, is because when you look at the end point of this, it will definitely result in more. We are talking about social vices, high crime rates, kidnapping, insurgencies, and all, and all of that. And we know that most of the places where food is even produced there are no-go areas. Let me use that word. It's not safe to go to those regions, and for farmers to also, transport. And of course, there was, a time when there was a disruption of the food supply chain, when, the cattle rearers, those Fulani cattle rearers and farmers who were coming down to graze, their goods were seized. And so I can categorize flood attacks according to its extent of severity, as that would affect food production in three major ways, which are flood washing away farm produce, flood washing away the soil texture and nutrients, and noting that when soil nutrients are being washed away by flood, it renders soil microorganisms inhabitable and unable to grow crops that could the food industry and the agriculture sector would definitely suffer. And finally, flood would cause farmers homelessness, which definitely would demotivate farmers from frequenting their farms, and then will indirectly cause food scarcity. And then the government is trying hard, and we can see from the media that some of the political aspirants, some of the presidential aspirants are trying to also sympathize and empathize. Yeah, that's the right word, with the farmers. And we have seen also, empathize in form of identifying, like coming back to the issue that I normally talk about, the data problem. We need to have, we encourage farmers to register with the ministries of agriculture, so that at such cases, they could be reached with some of the interventions and subsidies, and also grants to be given to them. I tell you that even not just the government, also the private investors and diaspora groups, they are trying hard to see that those farmers are helped out of this dilemma.
All right. There is a part that is impossible to ignore. I think we already made mention of it before, which is the part of the government now. In that, first of all, we understand that this is an emergency. Nobody know that this was going to happen. We understand that, so we are not blaming the government for that. But we are looking at the response, because, okay, we have a government in this case become like a kind of insurance, in that when you have a business, there are things that can happen sometimes that you cannot know that is going to happen. That is why you insure the business. In the sense, this is why we have the government, because the government should be able to respond in the case of emergency. So I'm trying to understand from you, how do you evaluate the response of the Nigerian government to the flood situation?
Anyway, what I can say about that, and government response, at this situation, first of all, like I said, the government most times cannot really do much, except with the ministries, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development. And I know that most of their interventions has always been maybe recently we know about the Anko Borrower scheme, the president, is very much interested. And we will not also forget about the farmer groups. We encourage them to form cooperatives, because the agriculture sector, especially those who were affected. I'm not saying that it's only the crops that's crops. Of course, you know that they are all interwoven. Those who, the crop farmers and the livestock farmers, they work together. What the livestock need, especially in the cattle, they eat grass. So where will they graze? Of course, that is even easier than for the crop farmers who have their crops, buried in the soil. For for the root crops, we have yams, we have cassava, we have cereal crop farmers like maize. We have horticulture. Yeah, so I am seeing the government. I am seeing the government at this situation because it has touched the news has gone, to it has been, wide coverage network. It has been disseminated like it's, the Pakistani flood issues. Like we are seeing on the media the other time that there were donations from the British government. So, and for those who were affected. So in this situation also, because my focus is on the agriculture sector, there were others, persons who were affected outside of the agriculture sector. But we are talking of food because food is one of the major life priority needs. So I think that the government is also trying hard, working with some of the diaspora groups. Like I remember that last year when I was in touch with some of the diaspora project, which I was I spearheaded, with the International Organization for Migration. I was asked to go to if one of the food crop production technology transfer stations that Nigeria government with the Federal Ministry of Agriculture.
We can barely hear you.
Oh, sorry about that. No, I was just saying that, in line with the government, with the federal government of Nigeria and the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, and also with some of the initiatives from the diaspora groups, the Nigerian diaspora groups. There was this project that they were spearheading. That initiative that they spearheaded, it was with the International Organization for Migration. So they were interested in the technology transfer station because there were four that was formed in 1982. So those forms, one was in Kano, one was in Yobe State, that's in Geshwa. The one in Kano was in Dan Hassan, and the one, for down south, one was in one is in Enugu State at Uguoba, and then the other one at Ubiaja. The one at Ubiaja is in the Niger Delta area, and in the south region of Edo State. That was where I that facility was where I was part of. So I can tell you that such projects, or how will I put it now, such initiatives by the government most times are also encouraged from the international community. So